What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and I'm finally back in town, and the first thing I want to do is get in front of my mic and my camera and talk about the season pass fiasco for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Before I start, I'm going to say a couple things first. Number one, big shout out to Maximilian. Maximilian actually had a really good breakdown with the season pass and just fighting games in general over the course of the past 3 decades. If you want to watch that video, which I highly recommend, it'll be linked in the description below. Go do that. Pause the video, go watch that, and then come back here. Or just watch this first and go over there. You get the picture. Watch the video. The second thing I want to talk about is kind of break down every single version of the game available right now and what it means for post-launch, because there's a lot of confusion going on. First things first, you can buy every piece of DLC that's offered with Dragon Ball FighterZ separately, individually, post-launch, whenever it comes out. You don't have to get the Season Pass. You don't have to get the sound pack. You don't have to get the music pack. You don't have to get any of that right now. What you can wait for is for the game to come out and for the content to actually be available, and you can buy it separately. It's like the songs will be available for like 99 cents, and the characters, I believe, whenever they get released, will be around the price of like $5.99 or $5, somewhere in the neighborhood. Guilty Gear, when it came out and they released their DLC characters, they sold for $7.99 and they only had 2. But because there's more characters offered with this, it's probably like in the neighborhood of like $4.99, $5.99. So you don't have to pay $35 for a season pass. You can just get the characters that come out and kind of choose which ones you enjoy, which actually I highly recommend you guys should do instead. I don't want to say get the season pass right now because, like, again, we don't know what's in it. But I will say that if you do get the season pass, you do end up saving money in the end, because what ends up happening is if they sell the characters for $5.99, that's $42 if I'm doing my math correctly, and the season pass is $35, so you save about $7. Not that big of a difference, but it's some savings. So basically, that's the incentive that they have for getting season passes. The con is you don't know what's going to be in it until they announce everything as it's get released over the course of next year. But the pro is you save $7, which I don't know if that's much of a difference to most people. But again, you can get the DLC all separately. I do want to note that, because I saw a lot of people confused, like, oh, we don't get this, we can't get the characters. You can. It just get them when they come out instead of just getting all the stuff in the beginning. Next, I want to break down the actual different versions of the game. First things first, you got the core game, $59.99, like any other new game. You got the core game. It's going to probably have a neighborhood of like 30, 34, 32 characters. I don't know the exact number because they haven't announced it yet. And so far, I think they revealed 17. So we're about at the halfway point. We still have a lot of characters yet to be revealed. And in the comment section below, I want to know from you guys which characters you want to see personally. So have some guesses down below in the comments. And by the way, while you're at it, if you enjoyed the video so far, feel free to hit the like button below. 3,000 likes as always is the goal. So I challenge you guys to get to that. Okay, core game. The next step up is the FighterZ Edition, and the FighterZ Edition is, I believe, $95, and all you're paying for that is the game and the Season Pass. There's no real discount there. It's just literally a bundle of the game and the Season Pass. If there's anything I would recommend, it'll probably be that. If you want to get like the fancier versions of the game above the standard copy, I would just get that, because the next step up is the Ultimate Edition, and in my opinion, the Ultimate Edition isn't really that, it's not really that catchy. It's called that. It's not that catchy. For $110, I believe, or in that neighborhood, you end up getting the game, the Season Pass, and then the sound packs. And the sound packs are going to consist of some OST music from the actual anime, as well as a couple other voice packs, which I don't really know the exact details for yet. But you do get some extra music with it for like an extra like $15, $20, which I don't think is worth it. But again, to each their own. You might want that. If you want that, go for it. The next step up is the Collector's Edition. I think this is the most controversial one. For $140, you get the game, a steelbook, some art, and a figure. And I think this had a bigger backlash than anything. A lot of companies have done this before over the course of the last like 2 decades. Well, not 2 decades, but like maybe a decade and a half. Call of Duty is most infamous for it, where they release a game, a deluxe edition, and then a collector's edition. Collector's edition, literally all you're mostly paying for is the game itself and some sort of figure that comes with it. I will never forget when I got Black Ops 2 Call of Duty a couple years ago for the drone. And it was a lot of money. It was like $200. I wasted my money on that. And the second I opened it, it broke. After that, I told myself I will never get a collection edition of a game ever again. At least until Fallout 4 came out, in which case I had to get the Pip-Boy edition. But even that, just kind of collecting dust, it makes me rethink, was it actually worth it? The answer is no. But again, some people like the collector's value of it, and they do tend to go for a collector's edition. And if that's you, by all means, go for it. But just note that you will not get the actual collector's edition with the Season Pass unless you buy it separately. Should they have put it all together? Probably, but then the problem would have been that they probably would have had to sell for like $175, which is really expensive to compensate for everything you're getting, and that's probably why they chose not to do it. I don't really know. I don't work there, so I don't know what kind of decisions go into these things, but I want to break down that that's how it actually works. Now let's talk about the actual Season Pass and the $35 price tag itself, because I think that's more the controversial part than anything. By the way, something I want to point out is I saw a lot of people say stuff like our system has never done this before. That is absolutely false. In fact, if you look up Guilty Gear right now, you'll see that they're selling a $35 sound pack. $35 for a sound pack. Not the characters, but just a sound pack. They've done it before. They also sold characters in the past for $7.99 each, and as well as voice pack, color packs, yada yada yada. They've done this before in the past, but again, that's that game. This is FighterZ, same company but different games. But what I am going to compare it to are the other games such as Injustice, Marvel vs. Capcom, and even Street Fighter V, because they also have expensive season passes, and I'm going to kind of compare what they're getting for their prices and what we're getting for our prices. And by the way, something I want to also make clear is you can get a season pass whenever you want. Let's say December 2018, the final character comes out, all 8 characters are out. Instead of buying them all separately, you can just get the season pass right then and there, and you'll have all characters. You don't have to pre-order the season pass. You don't have to get it before launch. You can get it whenever you want. Also, you can get all the characters separately as they get released, because you may not want all of them. For example, let's say they release Farmer with Shotgun for some reason, and you don't want to waste your money on that. You don't have to. So you can get that whenever you want. I want to make that clear. Now let's actually compare it to other games like Injustice 2, Street Fighter V, and Marvel vs. Capcom, and Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive I'm not going to get into, but Dead or Alive had the most expensive DLC for that game. I think like the season pass was like $90, and that was just for costumes. Granted, it was mostly costumes, still $90 is a lot. But again, some people will buy it, so that's where they release it, and they keep it more optional as opposed to like required or whatever. Injustice 2 season pass was $40, and it gave you 9 characters, same setup. Whenever the characters were released, you were able to download them if you got the season pass, or you could buy the characters separately. $40 got you 9 characters. Street Fighter V and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, well, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom and Infinite, they got $30 season passes for 6 characters. So we're right in the middle. We're a little like in between both of those. So as far as the content, it makes sense for the price and for the quality content you're getting. In my opinion, DLC is actually a really good thing and a healthy thing to do for games, especially in the fighting game genre, because it expands how much time people actually spend time playing it. Granted, you know, also to be on the opposite side, DLC can be scummy if you do certain things like lock it behind the disc and require you to pay to unlock later. That's bullshit. I will never forget when I got Assassin's Creed, I think it was Revelations or something like that, or 2. And when you get to like stage 11, it was like, oh, this is corrupt data. To play this, you have to pay for it. It's like, really? Are you serious? Whatever, you know, I'm gonna just skip over it. A lot of times they try to keep the content optional, but let's be real, sometimes it's not really an optional option. You have to sometimes buy it. But in fighting games, the way DLC is set up is it's designed to expand the game and add more content and more ways to play, which brings players back. Remember Pokken? On the Wii U? Remember that? It had no support. That game literally died in a month. I will never forget how hyped people were for Pokken. I bought a Wii U for Pokken, and I played so much of Pokken for the first month, and then I dropped it. Why? Because there's nothing to play after that. You can only play the game one way for so long before you get bored of it, and with the lack of support in that game, it ended up dying. Ironically, in Japan, that game was thriving. Why? Because the arcade version of Pokken on the Wii U back in the day, or I guess the arcade version on the arcade, was getting characters left and right. Like every month, they released a brand new character like Darkrai, Kurogunk, yada yada yada, and people were going to the arcades like crazy, spending countless money playing it. DLC can be a good thing. It brings people back. It'll bring you back to try out a new character, and you might like that character and pick that character up and play with them, or you might play those characters, not necessarily like them, and go back to playing your other character. But the point is, it brings you back. It keeps the game going. You guys remember Xenoverse 1? I'm sure a lot of you guys do, because this is obviously my channel. Xenoverse 1, with each DLC pack that came out, there was a lot of hype and a lot of wave of players, and even new players at the time. But whatever happened is, in between every single pack, it started kind of declining. And when DLC 3 came out in Xenoverse 1, it just did this. Just completely like decline. With Xenoverse 2, it had a much faster effect. In between every single DLC pack that came out, it would just do this, and then it would just kind of go down. But it does go up and down. And then once they release the last bit of DLC, it just is a constant decline, and then you end up seeing the same player who are just going to stick around and play that game over the course of the next couple months. But DLC can be a good thing. The final thing I want to talk about before I end this video / rant, not really a rant, but my opinion, my response, my reaction, is the quality of the characters so far they've shown off are up to par. And by the way, if you disagree with me, I welcome you to say it in the comment section below. I'm always open for people to disagree with me. Go for it. Don't be an asshole. But if there's something I say that you don't agree with, by all means, I welcome you to open up your mouth and talk about it down below. I'm okay with that. Again, just don't be a dick. If you come up here and say, throw insults, that's one thing. But if you come up here and say, hey, Rhymestyle, I disagree, you're welcome to do that. With that said, every character so far that I've seen shown off, over the course of the last couple months with Dragon Ball FighterZ, they seem up to quality, up to par. They even made Nappa fun. I don't even like Nappa, and I want to play as Nappa on Dragon Ball FighterZ. So because I've seen the quality, I know that whenever these characters get announced and shown off later in 2018, they're going to be up to par. And again, you can also just buy them separately. You don't have to get all of them. You don't have to get the season pass. In fact, the thing I recommend anybody here to do is only go for the sole game. Go for the $60 game. If there's anything, go for that. Worry about the season pass later. Worry about the fighter edition, all that stuff later. The song packs, the OSTs, the anime music. Worry about that later. To those who want to get the figure, I'm sure the figure is going to be available separately at some point as well. Get it later. If you're worried about it not being available, then I guess go for it, but I'm sure it's going to be sold later, so you don't have to get it. So if there's anything I recommend, is just go for the sole game now and worry about the extra content later. I'm sure that, you know, Arc System, I almost call them DIMS. Arc System Works, they're going to deliver, because like I said, everything they showed off so far looks beautiful, looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to get my hands on when the game comes out in January of 2018. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything. I'm sure there's stuff that I missed, and if I do miss anything, I will just drop it in the top comment down below in the comment section. So again, let me know your thoughts on everything that we discussed. What are your biggest pain issues and problems with the DLC and DLC in general? Yeah, it can be sucky at times, but I'm telling you, DLC can also be a good thing depending on how it's done. And so far, everything I've seen done in the last couple of years with games like Xenoverse 1, 2, and FighterZ now, how they're going about it, seems more right, and it's going to expand the game and add more fun content later. Yeah, I would love to have a game that has everything at launch, but it's just not going to happen because more stuff keeps happening. By the time Dragon Ball FighterZ comes out, I'm sure we'll be in the next arc in Dragon Ball Super, and then there's going to be characters in those games that we would love to see in that game as well. So by having a DLC pack open or DLC season pack open for 8 characters, they can play on future characters as well that haven't even been revealed yet. So let's just see what happens. With that said, let me know your thoughts on anything discussed, any pain issues you have yourself, any problems you see, which version are you going to go for, and we'll discuss it down here below as a community. Do not be assholes to each other. If someone says something you disagree with, then just keep it at that. Agree to disagree, but don't be dicks. I say that all the time, just don't be a dick. With that said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Rhymestyle. Let's see what you guys got to say. I'll see you guys down below. Peace.